Hey, David Talp here from nextlevelguitar.com, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about some Jamaican music, some ska, reggae, rocksteady, and actually we're going to focus a little bit more on ska punk and whatnot, you know. And not that I'm an expert by any means, but from what I've read, you know, a lot of times when you hear the term reggae, a lot of people think that, you know, all Jamaican music is characterized as reggae, and that's really not the case, because reggae kind of started like in the late 60s, but really what started before that, kind of a precursor to reggae, was this ska and rocksteady movement, which was kind of like in the late 50s, and that was characterized a little bit more by walking bass lines and a little bit faster tempo than reggae, which is a little slower. And ska and this rocksteady kind of morphed and changed into reggae. So you had all these different types of different Jamaican music going on, and ska has just been, you know, I really enjoy it, and a lot of bands have taken that and have added other things to it and created huge movements like the ska punk movement. So you have all these different bands out there that have kind of taken different things and added their own spin. You get the ska punk, you get the ska core, and a lot of it is really, really good. Great stuff, and you want to try and listen to as much as you can and kind of pick different things from each, as well as lots of reggae, right? So let's talk a little bit about the style and the playing techniques used, and a lot of it has to do with this laid-back groove and the timing and on the beats that you're accenting, right? What I mean by that is, like, if in a ska kind of feel, you're really accenting the 2 and the 4, or the offbeats, the and. If I was to count like an eighth note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, just on, I'm holding a G major bar chord. If I was to play on that offbeat, or that 2 and 4, you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm doing is I'm coming up with an upstroke on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I like counting it, instead of, a lot of people count it like that on the 2 and the 4. I like counting it in eighth notes, as far as like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on the ands, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you're kind of playing on those off beats. And the first time I hit the chord, again I'm holding a G major, I'm just lightly taking pressure off the strings. I'm still forming the shape of the chord, but I'm not pressing down and playing the chord. It's called the chuck, or what some people call the skank, or the muted down percussiveness of it, and it's very important in this style of music. So I'm kind of coming down with that chuck or skank, and then an up stroke on that offbeat, 1 and. Now, don't let the chord ring. You'll get that, or you'll get. You want to slightly, after you hit that upstroke, again, release pressure. So a lot is going on how you're manipulating the chord and how you're playing the chord too. But just finger a bar chord, and if you want to just kind of start moving it around, play a G major, and then we're going to go to like an A minor. One other thing that you want to do a lot of times when they're playing this style, this ska, this reggae style, is they're not voicing all the notes of a given chord. You're just playing pieces of a chord. For instance, on this G major chord, there's all 6 strings, but when I come up on that upstroke, I'm only hitting the top 3 strings. So really you're only hearing this chord. So technically I can kind of play this without even barring it. I could just play it like this. And I'm just playing that by barring the high E and the B string with my first finger at the 3rd fret, and my second finger is playing that 4th fret on the G string, that B note. Now that's still a G chord, because it has the notes B, D, and G. However, that's what's called an inversion, which is going to give you that little different tone, which is why sometimes these chords in this style of music sound a little different. The timbre is a little different, because in a straight G major chord, the notes are still the G, the B, and the D, but the G, or the root note, is the lowest note in the chord. So you hear that from that low G note. Same thing like if I play a G open, or if I play the G like this, G open. You hear it from that low G. Now anytime you play those same 3 notes which make up a G major chord, G, B, and D, but you play them where one of the other two notes is the lowest note in the chord, not the G. That's called an inversion. Inversion is anytime you're playing a chord and the lowest note is no longer the root note. Here, with your second finger, you're catching the B note, and now that's the lowest note. And the G is actually the highest note, and you're playing just those three. See the different timbre? As opposed to, see what I'm saying? It sounds different. As opposed to coming up all 6 strings. Doesn't sound as cool or as laid back. And then on that A minor chord, we're going to do the same thing. Instead of playing, coming up all 6 strings, just the top 3. And you could bar that with a 1-finger bar on the 5th fret on the high E string. There's your A note. On the 5th fret of the B string, there's your E note. And on the 5th fret on the G string, that's your C note. That's an A minor inversion because now the C is the lowest note, a note other than the root note A of the chord. Listen to the difference. See, you hear the difference in that? You're no longer playing the lowest note in the chord from the root note. So technically you're going to be going. And there you have that sound. Now combine that with the offbeat and the down chuck, up. But when you come up, just come up on the top 3 strings. 2 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's just a little different way of playing chords. The timing is a little different, and you really want to lay back and lock in with the bass player and the drummer and really rhythmically feel what's going on. A lot of it is about the groove and the feel of this music. And then once you get that down, let's just take a progression. Let's just play an E minor. And I'll flash these chords in text on the screen to a C major. We'll do all bar chords. Just make it easy. And then go to the G. And then D. Way up at the 10th fret, low E string root, right? But again, we're going to go down with the chuck on the 1. Upstroke, but on each upstroke, on the and or on the 2 and the 4, however you want to count it. I prefer to count it on the ands. Just gets me in that feel a little better. But that's just me, right? Just hit the top 3 strings, right? And you'll get something like this. Here's the E minor. The C. D. D. Again. And this is just a very basic kind of beginner way to kind of get going. And you know, once you get good at this, there's all kinds of different strum patterns that you could do depending on the emotion or the feeling that you want to get across, but which will accent those notes still. So there's all kinds of variations of what you can be doing rhythmically once you kind of get this feel and get in that pocket, right? And I like playing a lot of this style out of, right now I'm playing out of these 2 pickups, the neck pickup and the middle pickup, which is the 2nd position on most Fender Stratocasters. I kind of like having that single coil sound mixed in. It's much less sharp, and then if I was playing it like through the back pickup or through a humbucker, you kind of get this sound. It just kind of doesn't fit to my ears, you know, or the neck pickup alone sounds pretty good. But a little softer, a little less trebly with both pickups, neck and middle. To me, to my ears, that just sounds best. But try it in all the positions, pickup positions on your guitar. But if you can get that neck sound or neck and middle sound, if you have a Strat or Strat type guitar, that works good. But you could do this with any kind of guitar, and even an acoustic guitar. So try some of those rhythms and progressions and really try to feel the timing of this style of music, and check out, you know, some of the bands that have really incorporated this style of play into their repertoire and put their own spin on it. And one of my favorite bands that kind of encapsulates many different kind of styles along these lines is a band like Sublime. You know, they take that reggae, ska, dub, acoustic even, and they kind of roll it all together and they get their thing, and just really fun, really great grooving music, and you might want to check that out. And in fact, I don't know if you know this or not, but we actually have a 2-hour DVD that we sell on Sublime's song Santeria, where you learn all the rhythms and the timings and the progressions and the chorus and the verses, everything, the complete. So that has a really killer guitar solo in it too, and you learn that. And as well as I have a bonus lesson in there too on different reggae rhythms and strum patterns and whatnot. So it's 2 hours of the song and technique lessons. Check it out. You might like it. I'm going to include a link to that page where it describes what's on that DVD and the little DVD preview. You can watch a little bit right in this text box right here. Just click more info and then you'll see the link. Just click on that. And also check out all our lessons and written lessons, video lessons, jam tracks, and on our website at nextlevelguitar.com. And we will see you soon. Take care and rock on.